But with the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 1112, there's one big question that everyone's asking right now. So let's talk about it. And the question is, what did Mars see in the room? I think it ties directly to what York was talking about right here. She says, of course I know how to stop this. Besides, I don't want to rack up any more sins. Our relation is already troubled enough. And during my review, I talked about how this almost solidifies my sins theory that I've been talking about for quite some time. In quite some time, I mean back in 2021. And it all stems from the fact that we didn't actually know Julie Bonnie's fruit at the time, and I said it was the gluttony fruit. Now essentially, Julie Bonnie represents gluttony and literally has the epithet gluttony. In this scene right here with Akainu and Julie Bonnie, and the fact that Akainu did not murk Julie Bonnie, who was a pirate, right when he saw her, meant that Julie Bonnie had some importance. She was either a child of the Gorosei member or a tool that the Gorosei used. That was kind of like 75% right, because she was a child of a celestial dragon at least, and she was a tool used by Saturn. He wanted to see if an infant who couldn't even eat solid fruit was able to gain a power by the extract. I then go on to say that Julie Bonnie is going to be a part of an arc that introduces other sins as well. And since I originally mentioned that she was a child of a Gorosei, I thought it was going to be the Gorosei. Could make some connections, but that might be a stretch. And then we got this parent right here. So instead of the Gorosei, I went with all the 6 satellites of Vegapunk. We had greed, violence, wisdom, thinker, evil, and good. Based on those tiles, they wouldn't really connect to the 7 sins. But if you look a little closer, some do. And the reason why they all don't fit is because of what York said in this chapter. So you have Bonnie as gluttony, Atlas as wrath, Pythagoras as sloth, of Lilith at greed, of York as envy. Last 2 things we have is pride and lust. Pride is pretty easily because it could be the Stella. He doesn't want to be known for his failed experiments. But with what York said in this chapter right here, we don't want to rack up any more sins. Mars finding something in the chamber. These don't directly have to be the Vegapunks, but something tied to the Vegapunks or something they created. And lust could be Stussy, the first successful clones of the Mads, a succubus. Also highlighted in this chapter for their final mission, tying all the 7 sins to the Vegapunk. But where does that leave Shaka? Because Shaka was eliminated by York herself, this sort of implies exactly what York was saying in this chapter. She said not racking up any more sins, she means not creating any more Vegapunks. Their relationship is already troubled enough because York turned her back on all the other Vegapunks and their relationship is strained. Sins in this case would be the creation of another Vegapunk. This leaves credence that there actually being more than just 7 Vegapunks. Remember the explosion caused on Punk Hazard when Caesar was kicked out and Vegapunk wishing he had 5 of himself? And then you're reminded of this scene right here with Chopper, Atlas, and Robin. And Chopper's like, oh, your face is fine now? He's like, yeah, I can change my looks and body however I want. And then Robin looks over saying, oh, is this Vegapunk? And Atlas responds, those are organoids in those vats, lab-grown organs. It's indispensable tech for the future of medicine. So Robin thinking those things are actually Vegapunk could be a hint to this. This is Frankie after the explosion on one of Vegapunk's labs. And Frankie is a cyborg. Being a normal human taking this kind of explosion, who knows? And the person Mars is seeing right now is the original Vegapunk. And that's connected to Punk Records, connected to all the other satellites. And this is where Shaka comes in when you talk to Dragon. The one in the vat that Mars is seeing right now may be the one to die. Yeah, one more thing. We talked about the 7 sins in this chapter, but the number 7 has a little bit more significance. I mentioned this before countless of times, but now I see it circulating again. That Kid may have some connection to the Vegapunk. When he mentions damned punk, I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Kid, when he's using damned punk, has 7. Zero Fruit is the Jiki Jiki no Mi, which basically use electromagnetism. When Vegapunk mentioned the ancient energy that actually powered the ancient giant, the giant attacked Mary Joie almost 200 years ago, but now we see it moving because of Gear 5. It's possible the ancient energy he was talking about that actually had made it move 200 years ago was from Kid's Zero Fruit, electromagnetism. And when he was talking to Kuma, an army where all the soldiers look just like me, are they going to be just like the Marines? That's the gist of it. Have you heard of electromagnetic energy? Kid is the missing piece. And with binding the others right by the giant ship and Ethan approaching them, ancient giant on the move, wouldn't it be interesting if we get to see an appearance of Eustace Captain Kidd on Egghead Island? And you want to talk about the 7 sins? This just does have some connection to Vegapunk. You can't say nothing because this right here, now that's true pride. More One Piece content, y'all know what to do.